everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today we are making sauerkraut soup. For this recipe, I'm using some of my own homemade sauerkraut, some dried shiitake and oyster mushrooms, 1 tablespoon of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of flour, a few potatoes, an onion, 1 clove of garlic, a bay leaf, and a few peppercorns. Also, I am using pork bones and some of my frozen carrots. Before I get anything started, I put the mushrooms into a bowl and add some hot water, and I just let them soak in there for the entire time I am doing the rest of the prep. I took out quite a large pot this time because I had more pork bones than I needed just for this recipe, so I thought I might as well make a pork stock. So to that I added the chopped up onion, peppercorns, bay leaf, and the garlic. And of course, the pork bones. And I let that simmer for most of the day. I ended up being called out of the house to the field, so I transferred my pork bones to the crock pot and just let them sit in there for the rest of the time that I was busy. Once the meat started to fall off the bone, I knew it was time to get my pork bones out of there. I strained out everything that was in my broth because for the soup I am going to start with fresh ingredients. To about half of that broth, or approximately 1 liter, I added the cut up potatoes, a fresh onion. I took about 1.5 cups of the pork meat off of the bones and I added it in there. At this point, I'm adding the dried mushrooms and the liquid that they were rehydrating in. And I added my frozen carrots at this point. I gave it all a stir, and the soup needs to simmer for about half an hour until the potatoes are cooked. I didn't want to add the brine from my sauerkraut into my soup because it's pretty salty. So I squeezed out as much of the brine as I could. And I ended up using about 1 cup of the sauerkraut. In a bowl, I put the sour cream and I added the flour and I mixed it until it was well combined. This is going to be the thickener for your soup. I add the sauerkraut at this time. And now it's time to temper the sour cream mixture. I added some of the hot broth to the sour cream, and then I mixed it to combine. This way, your sour cream doesn't get shocked when it's added to the boiling liquid. I added more broth. And once I felt that sour cream was ready to go in the pot, I added it and gave it a good stir so that it was incorporated into the broth. I turned my temperature down, and once the flour was cooked in about 5 minutes, your soup is ready to go. Thanks for watching, everybody.